Welcome to chapter number 8. And in this chapter, so this is part 3. We're talking about strategy now. And in this chapter, we'll talk about how to come up with the strategy and how to implement it in the international market. So before we do that, let me just give you a good idea about what strategy is and what steps we can take for formulating and implementing the strategy. So let's see. All right, so to make it easy, so this is point A. This is the company's current situation, where the company is, okay? And point B is where you want to go, okay? So the arrow is actually strategy. How do you go from point A, where you are, to where you want to go? That's the strategy. So the top of the arrow is strategy, how you get there. And sorry about that. And the person that takes you there is the leader. So strategy and leadership, this is the relationship. So A is your current situation. B is your desired situation. That's a call from India. So don't be surprised if somebody calls again. Friend from India. But anyway, so current situation is where you are, desired situation is where you want to be, and how you get there, the top of the arrow is strategy, okay? So the desired situation, where you want to go, you could call that as your vision, right? Where you want to go, that's your vision, okay? And the mission is how you're getting there, okay? That's the mission. So what product services you're going to sell to get to this amazing goal, okay? And if you were to look at values, they would be over here, the values for the company. So this is the vision, the mission. By the way, the first letter for the quiz, password for the quiz is L. Now my friend is proving me wrong. He didn't call. Anyway, so the first letter is L, as in Larry, lion, okay? And we're going to talk more about this as to what you could do. So there is a tool called SWOT analysis. You must have heard of it: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So you get strengths and weaknesses over here when you're analyzing the current situation. You're analyzing your company. So you find out what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, okay? And so this is inside the company. And what is outside the company is OT, which is opportunities and threats, okay? So when you scan the environment, you're gonna find out, a whole bunch of different opportunities that you can go for, and at the same time, what are the threats? So that's part of the environmental scanning. So opportunities and threats come from the external environment. The opportunities and threats could be, changes in the political structure, changes in tariff, trade, currency fluctuation, whole bunch of things. And so this is all external to the company. And whatever is inside the company is your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so let's jump into the chapter. Let me explain further. So strategic management, I just talked about that. And so why do the strategic planning? Basically, remember these 3 words, or this letter, SCA. By the way, the second letter for your quiz is E. E as in Edward, E as an elephant. Okay. So the reason to do strategic planning is SCA, is sustainable competitive advantage. What do we mean by that? So for a company to be competitive, it has to have a competitive advantage over its competitors, like meaning it has an advantage. So that's why it can make more money, or it can be more competitive. What do we mean by sustainable? So let's say Walmart's competitive advantage is the kiosk, right? It's the self-checkout. Okay. How easy it is for somebody to copy it. Everybody can copy it. So it would be a temporary competitive advantage. It's not sustainable because somebody can easily copy it. But If Walmart's competitive advantage is based on the logistics, the transportation system, the distribution system, then it is much more difficult for others to copy it. So that's what we mean by sustainable competitive advantage. And the way we formulate strategy is based on either money consideration or politics and the quality or the administrative coordination strategy. We can discuss these in detail in a minute. So money economic imperative, let me just move this a little bit over here, is either it could be based on cost, the company wants to cut cost, or, so let me explain these terms. The way companies compete, the companies compete based on either cost, which is you got Walmart, Aldi, dollar store, so they're competing based on cost. Okay? And the other side of that is differentiation, meaning you compete based on quality of your products. You know, something that is good, you know, has great quality, brand recognition, the logo, everybody remembers. So that's what brand differentiation is. An example of that would be, I mean, the higher end products, you know, so Gucci, Prada, you know, people know those things. And most of the companies actually operate somewhere, you know, they try to do both, okay? There are some that are just gonna be doing the cost leadership, which is, like as I mentioned, Walmart, all these. Some that will just be doing differentiation, which is Gucci, Prada, and all those. But even if you look at Samsung or Apple, it will try to do, so Samsung, Apple, they have products at a lower end, like the cell phones, smartphones, and they have products at the high end too. So companies try to cater to all the segments of the market because they don't want to, you know, leave any segment out. That's the segmentation part. Do you want to, you know, provide services, products and services to all of them, or to just a minor, smaller segment? Economic, political imperative. See, my goal in doing these lectures, the videos, is actually to give you something that is beyond the textbook, okay? So that's why I drew the diagram before. So let me give you another perspective. Political imperative, the books say that it is to protect local market niches. Another reason for this is also if sometimes, you know, like a company, like let's say, just say Air India, you know, that's the India's airline, that may say, oh, we're gonna buy planes from whoever will manufacture a lot of components of the plane in India. Okay, that could be the political imperative. Why? Because politicians want to create jobs, okay? So, you know, Air India, Indian Airlines, they could say, hey, you know, if you bring, we'll buy to Boeing that if we'll buy planes from you, if you do the things that, you know, normally you would not be doing in India, like maybe make, I mean, they may not make, you know, arguments to make the critical components, but something that would create jobs, like the carpets, the seats, you know, some other things that, you know, easily could be done in India. So that's another way of looking at it. Quality imperative is, you know, managing quality, making sure that it is of a good quality. And administration is sometimes, you know, when you have local suppliers, you cannot get the delivery properly. The quality of the products may not be there. So companies may want to go overseas to make sure, or may try to take over more of the supply chain just to make sure that the quality and the timeliness is maintained. Now, there are two types of competing things. So let me just show you in the graph, which is global integration means you want to have big factories where, global factories where, guess what? If you have global factories, cost per unit goes down. So that is economies of scale, okay? So the third letter, again, the password is 5 letters. The third one is A as an apple. So global integration is you want a global factory because economies of scale, meaning the cost per unit goes down. So in national responsiveness, it's a fancy word meaning customize. You want to customize your products for the local consumer. Now we look at international strategy. Again, book gives different examples, but I'll give simpler example. So there is no need for global factory, or there is no need to customize products for the local market. That's what, the low customization is low, integration is low. Think about products like that. I know it's a video, so you could pause and think about it. Think about luxury goods, Gucci, Prada, again, any of those products. They don't want, because consumers outside US or wherever you go, they don't want the products to be customized for them. The reason they are buying those products is because they want the one that is either sold in the US, European countries, because they are looking for that brand. They're looking for the status symbol. Okay, so that's what international strategy is. And again, Gucci, Prada, they don't have to have huge factories because they want to make limited editions, limited things to sell to customers because it's a status symbol. On the opposite extreme of this is transnational strategy, meaning you have to customize the product as well as you want a global factory. This is where you have to think about products such as computers, okay, laptops. There are lots of components in a laptop or even a smartphone that can be standardized, but you have to customize it for the local taste, meaning the software that goes into the laptop or the smartphone and things like that, that could change based on where you're selling it. Okay? So that's the transnational strategy. Companies try to standardize as much as they can and then customize the things that they have to. Then multi-domestic strategy is where you cannot, again, have big factories. Think about low global integration, meaning no big factories, high, meaning you have big global factories. So multi-domestic, again, it applies to mostly food items because the consumer tastes are very different. If you ever traveled, you'll notice that even the Coke tastes differently when you go to different countries. Okay, so you have to customize the products to fit the local taste. Now we come to the next one, which is global strategy, which is you have a big factory that is producing stuff, but it doesn't need to be customized for the local population. And think about products that are like that. So these are typically commodities, okay, meaning they don't need to be customized. So think about the things that would be standard everywhere. Okay, think about those kind of products. All right, the products that don't need to be modified and change based on the local, wherever it is. So think about cables, think about, keyboard, mouse, they don't need to be changed. Think about stuff that can be produced in a big global factory and, it could be sold everywhere without making much of a change, okay? Next, we move on to, we just discussed that. And as I mentioned to you, environmental scanning, if you recall the one that I showed you, where there is this one, point A to point B. Oh. So this is, you get, once you scan the environment, you get the opportunities and you get the threats for that. So you're scanning the environment. Why do you want to scan the environment? Because you want to find out what is it that the people are looking for in that particular market. Okay? And also, what are the threats that could come up? Do you want to start a factory over there? What would happen? Is the government stable? All those kinds of things. Internal analysis, again, this is what we discussed, which is you get the strengths and weaknesses. So you're analyzing your own company. And then you find out what are the key success factors. Why is the company successful? Is it because of the quality of products and service? Is it because of the brand name? Things like that. Or is it the pricing? Whatever it is. And when you're when you're coming up with a strategy, you have to think about these goals. How much money you want to make, how would you market the products, how would you manufacture them, distribution, things like that. How would you fund the operations, where are you going to get the loans, and the people who, that will be operating those particular operations. So, and so you need to consider the location. Okay, where do you want to go? And then later on, you also want to find out, okay, you have picked a location. Now you have to, find out how it would make more sense to operate in that country. Do you want to start your own factory? Do you want to get a partner? Sometimes, in some countries, India, China, you have to have a local partner, otherwise you can't enter. So sometimes it is limited by what the limitations are, or your choice of entering the country is depends upon the policies and procedures that you have to follow in that country. And we look at frontier markets. So if you look at US, UK, European countries, most of them are considered developed markets. India, China, Brazil, Russia, they're kind of considered emerging markets. And the ones pre-emerging are mostly African countries. So they are one step before. They're also called frontier markets. And so if you look at, see the location, see these are the advantages related to location. And these are the advantages related to the company. So the company has brand recognition, that would be company specific advantage, okay? Country specific advantages, the cost of labor is low. So if a company is over here, it does not have any advantage. So it's actually does not have any advantage. So this is a bad position to be in. This is a great position to be in, meaning the company has great brand recognition. Company, the products and services are sold, are in good demand, as well as the country where it is operating. Either it has a good market, so they can sell the products over there, or it can produce the products cheaper over there. So it's a combination. So this is the best position to be in, and this is where. This is also good, but this is where you have like companies go there. The ones that go there are going there to reduce cost typically, because you're getting some advantage from the country. Either the country is giving you tax breaks, low labor cost, or some kind of advantage that you're getting. Similarly here, your company has an advantage based on its brand, based on what it does, but it doesn't necessarily get any advantage from the country where it is operating. Okay. And then we're implementing, the functional areas. We talked about marketing, production, finance. This is your advantage, or your marketing strategy is based on, you probably heard of this 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, place. And similarly, if you have, these are based on the production functions. How are you producing? Where are you producing? Are you exporting? Things like that. Finance, where are you getting the money from? Is it better to take the money from there? In the past, there were restrictions. Now companies can get loans locally also. Strategies for emerging market. Actually, this is, if you look in the book, let me show you something over here, the base of the pyramid, because there are a lot of people. So let me just switch over to that. So this is like the base of the pyramid. What we mean by that is there are many, companies that are actually ignoring this part. Read about Danone, how they kind of made small size yogurt packets. They were selling it. So companies were actually leaving this 3.2 billion people. They were not even marketing to them. So there are companies that are coming up with different ideas, different products, packaging it specifically for the local market. So that's a huge market, 64% of the global population. And so some companies are trying to take advantage of that. All right, so let's go back over here. And so entrepreneurship is also important. There are some born global firms. In this day and age, if somebody has tried the Amazon drop shipping, things like that, it's possible that you could, let's just say, for sake of example, have a t-shirt business, like you're printing some things on the t-shirt, You could have the t-shirt made in China. You never have to visit the factory or anything. And the product doesn't even come to your place and it is shipped directly to wherever your consumers are. Okay. So that could be an example of a born global firm. Like you started off right away, from doing business globally. Okay. So there is born international firm, which is a local firm that exports to the market that are close to. But the born global it's a truly global, meaning it just starts off like that. And in today's day and age, because of advances in communication technology, that is possible. All right, so that's it for this chapter. And the last two words for your password are R and N. So R as in Roger, Rabbit, N as in Nancy. So it's a 5-letter word. Go back if you kind of missed something, and then you'll get all the letters. So the last two words are R as in Robert or Roger, and N as in Nancy. So only, let me write it again. Only the first letter is capital L. Okay, the others are all small case. The first letter is capital L, L as in Larry. Okay. All right, so quick recap. So this topic was about strategy implementation, formulation and implementation. And as I explained to you, strategy is how you get from point A to point B. And leader is the one that takes you there, and you have to analyze what is inside the company. You get the strengths and weaknesses, and what's outside the company, which is opportunities and threats. So this is called external. This is external, and this is internal. And we discussed different strategies. It could be based on cost. It could be based on differentiation. It could be based on standardizing, which is like a international strategy, global strategy, or customization, which is multi-domestic and transnational strategy. All right. So, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in future videos. All right. Bye. Yes, this is causing a little bit of an issue.